GCC leadership mindset is the make or break for the future of the GCC. And Ajay, I want to start with really that theme about today leadership in chaos, today leadership in this very uncertain, volatile world possibly requires a slightly different set of skills or a very different set of skills. And how are you seeing that evolve, mostly from a GCC mindset, but broadly from a CEO mindset also?
So first, I told you not to be the last act, right? One, we'll run out of time. Two, everything would have been said. But knowing Sangeeta, she'll bring out a new topic always, right? So we didn't talk about managing the current. So I think all of us say that all the time. I think all the disruptors that are possible in a business environment are at their peak today. Whether it's geopolitics, who would have thought there would be wars 5 years ago, and guess what? Maybe there are just too many of them. The whole economic scenario, climate, just the sheer, I think every citizen in every country is in a disruptive mood right now. And that's, add to it the fact that emerging technology is just the pace at which it is changing is just making a full difference. Now, how does leadership happen in this case? I guess that's your question. You know, it's true. Every business is going through those disruptions. Those companies that we see making a difference are truly that are working around the imperatives of, you know, literally resilience, agility, and opportunity. Absolutely, in the sense that resilience could be financial, could be operational, could be organizational, should be external resilience, right, to your entire ecosystem that you work for. And those are the leaders that are really making a difference in that. So that's in the one space. But just to add to it, resilience is beginning at the CEO level, right? And I'll come back to that. But before that, obviously, resilience leads to agility, right? Whenever you're in that scenario of trying to apply brakes and pick up whenever you can, agility plays a big role. And that's what I think the good leaders bring that to the table. Opportunities or, you know, the breakthroughs have always come through unprecedented times. So that's where I said opportunity is the big one, and there are many leaders who are looking at it as we go forward. Won't be wrong to say that a CXO today is a chief resilience officer. You have to give it to them. And resilience in the vision, resilience that is full-bodied, resilience that is at an individual level, ability to take tough decisions, those are the things that are sitting on the table right now.
But don't you think resilience is often understated, right? It's taken as, yeah, it's good to be resilient, but you're not innovative enough, so...
No, it's a balance of the two. And you're right, resilience, in a resilient scenario, you have to have an eye on the growth, right? Because growth will come out of that resilience that you're building. And that's what, you're right, every leader needs to take a role on. I like the topic today because it's not about what you're doing today. It's about where is this ball going to land 5 years from now? So 2030, 2040, 2047, as we talk about the whole Amrit Kal scenario, what is going to happen? What do we need at that time? I think that's what's important right now for our leaders to be. Now, of course, this whole story is not complete without people leadership. The whole emotional intelligence, the adaptability, transparency, communication, I think those are the differences that leaders are making in this current tough scenario. And the organizations that we see are more open about it, accepting about it, are making a bigger difference. So absolutely, it's leadership at this stage. And I'm sure you see it in the industry as well. By the way, it's not just a tech industry thing. It's an industry agnostic situation today.
No, we've always been very proud about how the Indian tech industry has been always the most resilient through all the different phases we've done. This one still has to play out, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. We also heard a lot about, Ajay, the value chain, right? GCC is moving up the value chain, and I love the point Lalit said that don't bucket everybody into one value chain. There are GCC archetypes. What is value chain for one type of business may be different for another type of business. But as we think about GCCs from a 2030 perspective, right, which is still 5 years out, 5 years which we really can't see today in many ways, how do you see this whole value chain play? And what is your recommendation to some of the leaders that are in the room today?
I think lots has been said by the 4 speakers before us. So anything I say would be literally preaching to the priests over here, and that's not the intent. But with that said, yes, from where it started 20 years ago, and Lalit rightly said, maybe the GCCs that came in 95 are today doing very well as well. So it's not that it's not that they packed up and went away. So it's an old phenomena. Each one is at a different stage, right? You have to accept it. Some of them are still set up with the scenario of support services, other at the high end of R&D, but they come with that intent. Again, to Lalit's point, don't put everybody in the same bucket over there. That's not the intent. I think the GCCs that are making a difference are the ones, or that will make a difference going forward in the value chain, are the ones which are, catalysts to reinvention. Right? Today we are talking that AI-led reinvention is going to make a difference between an organization as it prospers, and GCCs that are created with that intent will make a difference. So that's one. Two, lots has been said that GCCs need to be the foundation for innovation. Innovation needs to come out of India because talent is coming out of India. And it can't be that innovation happens somewhere else and we execute. I think we are way past that thing. And the third and the more important one is India needs to become a hub for the whole talent strategy that's being worked for, talent or leadership, and more importantly, leadership, as Manu reiterated that again and again. So those are the three things that they need to do. The modern GCCs, if I can call them that, will be the one which will be on the business agenda. Right? These are the ones which are there for a purpose, the purpose of being an HQ or HQ2 or being an enterprise of the future as much. They will have their own talent strategies, which aligns with the organizational talent strategy. They will have a location strategy that aligns with the organizational strategy. And location, I don't mean metros to tier 2, it could be anywhere across the globe. And that's where I think we need to. The good thing or the best thing I think towards the end it got said was, maybe the GCCs are the best thing that is happening to India right now. Why? Because the world is coming to us. Right? Previously, to get trained on all these things, we had to send engineer overseas. Today, guess what? Industry agnostic, it's here for us. Right? People are getting trained on that, and that's a big difference. Of course, you can add many more onto it as to culturally savvy, cross-functional collaboration within the organization maybe can be led from India. And those are the values that GCCs bring to the table. And of course, needless to say, unless the ecosystem around it really creates that environment, it's not going to be successful. And I know that we are doing a lot, whether with the government or with the academia across, and you know that better than I do.
No, I fully agree. I think, and we heard it from multiple speakers, Shirisha said this very well, that there is sharing that's happening in the ecosystem, but there's a lot more that we can do. And I think that starts right with how we will prepare the talent for the future. How are we going to partner with the academia? I can see Ram in the room. FIS has recently signed up with Manipal to do a course on financial technology with computer science, right? So there is newer types of partnerships that we are doing. The Nasscom consortium with the GCC Council has created a BFSI consortium where we are taking specific BFSI courses across to academia to train the talent that will be available to many companies. It's not for one company only, right? So there's a lot of collaboration that is happening, but it needs to grow up 10x. I think the other point that was said was, and I think you saw this between Manu and Sindhu, that the GCC is here where the innovation is happening, the big tech company is here where the software development is happening, but most of the collaboration is happening probably back in the HQ, right? How does some of that start happening in India? We're seeing examples of it, but we need to see much more big tech collaboration with the big GCCs that are innovating, or small GCCs that are innovating, starting to happen in India. I think the third one for us is clearly how the partnership with the startup ecosystem is moving. For a time, it was all about set up a startup accelerator, corporate accelerators, and that did well. But I think today you're seeing GCCs that are actually saying, I want to go to market with a startup. So I think those are the kind of shifts that we are seeing, and of course, government as an enabler. And I think the point Shirisha mentioned about how India is a market. So if you see DBS Bank, the GCC has actually integrated the Singapore Pay now with the UPI in India. So you're not just playing out for what the global enterprise is doing, you're also taking the India opportunity and building for that. So I think there's a lot of ecosystem play that's there in pockets, but I think our role as Nasscom is to make this even stronger, aggregator, work with all the partners out there to truly make this much more real. But I want to just turn to you, Ajay, and say, how do you see GCCs partner with service providers? Because there's always been a feeling of competitors or collaborators. Do you see that changing?
No. So again, different GCCs come with different agenda. I think most of them today understand that For them to be agile and to work at scale, they need to work with partners. And that's what's exactly happening. Every GCC, when I say every, it's generic, maybe 9 out of 10 certainly are clients of ours. We are helping them come in. And each one, by the way, is coming at a different stage of maturity and a different intent. Ability to understand that, bring our muscle behind it, bring our experience behind it, have the right partners for them to make it happen is what I think the IT services or the GBS firms bring over here. We very proudly claim we were the first, maybe one of the first few GCCs who came to India, right? And at that scale, we did it. That's how Accenture started. And today, we are very, very happy to bring our clients on board over here. And that's the discussion that what we can't do, we'll get you the right partner to do. Works very well. I think the government is very supportive to it. There is never an agenda where GCCs don't get talked. Every state is truly at competition, and I think that's the relationship we bring on the table over there. So very, very harmonious relationship between the two. We understand the client, we understand what they want, and I think we can certainly help them make it faster than what they would have done.
I hope Sujit's getting that message. Because he's always trying to tell us, oh, these companies are not growing and these are growing, and it's not
Absolutely
one versus the other. So I'll take a dig at Sujit again. But I think just the last point, and I know our time's up, I think we did hear some conversations around what can possibly slow down the story, or what can be some more issues that we need to watch out for. Right? So clearly, talent is number one, right? We need to make sure that we have the right leadership skills, we are investing in the right kind of skilling that the AI world, the AI reinvention that you talked about will require. It's not the standard skills that we needed in the past. It does mean that there's focus on both ease of doing business and speed of doing business, right? While we see all these policies, how are they getting implemented on the ground? How do we manage the whole external geopolitical environment and what is needed out there? How do we really effectively make all these partnerships work? But I think, anything from your side, Ajay, on what is it that we should watch for, that we need to proactively invest in building from now so that this story is even growing and really achieve the numbers that we are looking for?
No, I think you covered most of them. We are very good at doing talent at scale. What is required now is the right skills at scale. The non-employability of college graduates, which stands at some 40-45%, is not going to help us at all, right? So that means we need to go back into the system, go short-term, mid-term, long-term, right? We always end up doing a short-term scenario. What's the next batch coming out? How do I train them? In my opinion, I think that's a little too late. We need to be literally going down to class 10th, 12th graduates and say, what's the entrepreneurial mindset rather than just a services mindset? That will be our challenge, right? Our education system has been built for a services mindset. How do we change it to an entrepreneurial mindset? And that's the voice maybe we need to take to Delhi and say, let's take it down there. Tier 2, Tier 2, Tier 2, everybody talks. It's a great story. We've opened eight Tier 2s in the last 3 years. I think the spotlight should remain on metros and Tier 1s as well, and there's a lot that needs to be done over there. That brand can become a challenge going forward, right? And that's what we need to work on as a country, as a nation, GCCs, non-GCCs, everybody coming together. So, all for that.
No, thank you. Any closing reflections from you?
No, I think it's our opportunity to lose, and I talk as India overall, cross-industry, across any state, across as a nation. It's our opportunity to lose, right? India should become the innovation engine for the world because that's the talent we have. It should have the best ecosystem, ease of doing business, absolutely no two ways about it. And everything is in our support, the whole demographic dividend that we have, the whole technology evolution that we've done in the last 30 years since the Y2K, everything is in our favor. Let's make it happen. That's all I can say.
And I think my biggest takeaway was the whole product leadership and how do you really build India and the GCC ecosystem ready for that whole product differentiation that we need to invest in. So thank you so much, Ajay. I know this was short and sweet and hopefully we didn't repeat too many things. So.